Coach's Corner is brought to you by Capital Investment Company of Virginia.
Hello and welcome back for another episode of Coach's Corner. I'm Mitch, Stewart, and joined alongside me here this morning is Dawgs head coach Dan Bremner. Dan, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, of course.
So let's jump right into it here. A quick start to the season for the Dawgs. 3 wins in your first 4 games, one of the strongest starts in franchise history. How would you assess the team's performance through these first few weeks of the season?
Pretty good. I mean, everybody's excited. It's awesome. I'm pumped about it too. It's a great start. It's nice to get those first few under our belt right away. The first weekend, up and down, of course. A ton of energy from us on home opener with a huge crowd behind us. We go down to Fayetteville, and it was their home opener. They had that energy as well coming back at us, and defensively a little poor. So we made some adjustments through the week. Went into Macon with a better idea how we wanted to make sure we're protecting the house, and obviously got the results. Macon's going to be a team that's constantly improving all year long. We got to be ready for a big test this weekend.
The last time that we had talked at the end of last season after the President's Cup final run, you were pretty confident that you were going to be able to bring a lot of familiar faces back this year, and just about everyone that didn't retire is factored in at some point during training camp or into the start of the season. How advantageous is that to you to have such a familiar group of players come back to the system?
It helps a ton, and you can see guys that are taking new guys under their wing and showing them how we do things here and what we're looking for. That and having a run like that, and just falling short. It's on guys' mind through the summer. So even the guys, even when you have a big group coming back, sometimes if they haven't really dialed it in, it still takes that little bit of time to kind of get into hockey mode, thinking it all the time. When you have a disappointing end like that, where you feel so close, it lingers on the mind. And for sure, these guys have been thinking about hockey, and you can see it in the way they're playing early.
One of those familiar faces that came back, Ford Mac Jansen, already in the hunt for a couple of different career records, franchise records for the team. And then today, the team announcing that Mac is the 4th captain in Dawgs history. What are some of the factors that led to that decision for you?
Well, I was excited going into this year, just that we had Armstrong for so many years now, that it was just kind of assumed coming in that he was going to be the captain. And he was a fantastic captain, and it was good. It was assumed he took on that role, and he was great with it. This is the first year that was really. No assumptions. There wasn't that kind of veteran coming back to us. Obviously, Janny's been here a few years. We have guys that have been here a few years, but there wasn't the predetermined captain. So it was nice to have the first couple of weeks where guys kind of got to find their own place in the room, and it was very evident within the first week within camp that you could see who guys were drawn to, and Max stood out. Of course, he's doing just the things that he always does, and I knew he would. But it was a unique opportunity for us to kind of navigate it that way, and I'm really excited. I've said it before when we signed him in the off seasons. He's kind of like the epitome of what it means to be a dog as far as passion, speed, skill, energy. He's physical. Even he's added that to his game to be a real leader in all aspects.
You mentioned Travis Armstrong a moment ago. Between players like himself, Jeff Jones, Brant Sherwood, those are some pretty decent-sized holes that you have to fill when you go from one season on to the next. But a lot of good-looking new players that are new to the team that have come in at the start of this season. Who are a couple of those players that have stood out to you so far?
Yeah, so it's kind of twofold. Obviously, those are holes, we're looking for guys that were contributing last year to take on a bigger role. We're going to be looking for Hepner to continue on with the pace that he had last year and build into that. Looking to Stubbs to step up. All these guys to start filling in little pieces of that hole. And then we got some great rookies that are going to be stepping in. I mean, you look at Roman, Valerian that we got towards the end of last year. So maybe not true rookies, but we're looking at them to take on a little bit more ice time and fill that back end hole a little bit. We'll be looking for Leonard stepping in as a staple here with Matty O'Day back there. And then up front, as far as new faces, Dominic's has been really good for us. He's dynamic, he's fast. He, for a smaller guy, he deals with the contact and the abuse really, really well. So I'm excited to see what he can do through the year.
You get your first 3-3 this weekend, where you play 3 games over the course of 3 days. It starts right here, Fayetteville, on Friday night at the Berglund Center, and then on Saturday night you go to Knoxville, and then across the mountains to Fayetteville on Sunday.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the challenges that come with that kind of a trip, and then maybe a quick scouting report on what to expect from the Marksmen and the Ice Bears?
Yeah, I mean, 3-3 on its own is hard enough, whether you're in one city, two cities. We're in three, and that travel between a Saturday night game in Knoxville to a Sunday afternoon game in Fayetteville, about a 6.5 hour bus drive, is going to be really daunting. So it is what it is. Every team in the league deals with their few weekends that are not great travel, and 3-3. So we've been talking about it, and we know it's going to be tough on our bodies, tough on our minds. So we're as prepared as we can be. When it comes to the scouting report, Knoxville, perennially a very good team. Fayetteville, year over year now, in the top half of the standings, and a very good team, competitive team. It's going to be all year against those teams. So I'm excited, to play good teams like that all the time. I think that's what propelled a team like us last year into a good playoff run, because it's been playoff hockey all season long.
One last one for you, and then I'll let you get back to work, because you got 3 games to prepare for this weekend. But one stat I think that really popped out when looking at the team last year moving into this season, 20 of your 28 wins in the regular season and playoffs came right here at the Berglund Center. How big is that to have kind of that home ice advantage, and what does it feel like when you go out to coach for a game and those players step out onto the ice in front of such a rowdy fan base?
Yeah, I mean, it was about 5,000 for the home opener, and here everything sounds bigger too. Like it's like you can get a crowd of 3,000 that are really passionate about it, and that the building is just so loud, and you could see it in the energy from our guys. I mean, that first Friday night, our guys were shot out of a cannon. We were winning every race. We were winning the stick battles, and it does affect the play. It's awesome to see. I'm excited to see another big crowd here tomorrow night.
Good deal. Well, Dan, thank you so much for joining me here this morning, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Mitch.
That's going to do it for this episode of Coach's Corner. A busy weekend for the Rail Yard Dawgs. It starts right here Friday night, November 4th. The Rail Yard Dawgs hosting the Fayetteville Marksmen, and then Saturday night in Knoxville, Fayetteville on Sunday afternoon before Roanoke returns to the ice next Friday at home against the Macon Mayhem. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.
Coach's Corner is brought to you by Capital Investment Company of Virginia.